Right, yeah. It's probably recording now, but I don't know how to get into the intro. Whoa, it sounds loud. Welcome everyone to the Hollywood Fixers. I'm your host, Kudzai, here with...
Jack. I always forget that bit.
Yeah. You always forget, and you also do not sound as enthusiastic. How dare you? And finally, we are back from the dead. I'm back from the dead. I'm pretty sure Jack's been, alive
I've always been
for quite
dead.
some time. He's made himself alive on the page, and I just haven't. And to be fair, there's a little bit of, there's a reason behind it. Pretty much, it's been a chaotic couple of months. Uni's just been a bit of a mess. Yeah, no one's ever prepared for that. And I came to a point where I was pretty much seeing essays in my sleep, so I had no time to do any recording or anything. I'm not joking. We literally had to complete 3 essays in 1 week, and I'm like, I can't do this. I just can't. So I was seeing essays in my sleep, and I just needed a break from everything. But yeah, no, pretty much here we are.
Yeah. We're only 2 months in the making, but it's fine.
It's fine. It's totally fine. And this time, actually, we are gonna be getting quite consistent.
Hopefully.
I'm gonna try my hardest. I'm trying to try my hardest to make sure I don't see essays in my sleep and get as consistent as possible, or have a routine at least.
Yeah, well, this was supposed to come out on the 5th of January, and now it's the 5th of March. So.
Yeah, we did say by the time people would see this, it would be 2021.
Yeah.
We did guarantee this. So, with that being said, we're going to get into today's video, which is something that we've pretty much been very excited to do. We did record this beforehand, but everything failed on Jack's end, pretty much.
My file got corrupted, and I couldn't fix it.
Yeah, imagine we had the greatest, talk ever, and then it just kind of just dropped, and we'll never get that back. Well, Jack will never get that back. No, we'll try our best. But yeah, today we'll be talking about Hamilton the musical. Pretty much we're talking about the movie version that came out on Disney Plus. It came out in July, I believe. It came out in July 4th, June, that period.
2020.
Yep, July 4th. It's about 2 hours and 40 minutes long in running time.
Yeah.
But it is worth every minute. We'll get into the reviews.
Can I say a little bit about how the film ended up on Disney Plus?
Yeah, sure.
So, back in 2016, when Hamilton was on its first run, the director of the show, I believe his name was Thomas
Crale.
Yeah, Thomas Crale. Thomas Crale. Recorded it 4 times. He did 2 with an audience and 2 without an audience, and then he sort of blended them all together to make almost a definitive version of the musical. And then I think it was early 2020, maybe late 2019, where Disney paid $75 million to own the rights to Hamilton and to put this video version on Disney Plus. Within that contract was the agreement that Disney could make a film version, a full film version at some point. But yeah, and when Hamilton released on July 4th, it became the #1 thing on the service for 2 months, and brought them something I think it was along the lines of 13 million subscribers. I might be wrong on that.
Yeah.
But I think that was about right. Let me just...
It was one of the biggest things that came out during the summer of 2020. And even coming towards the winter, because I remember quite a lot of people were starting to watch it in winter as well. So it was one of the biggest films. It was also nominated for Golden Globes.
And Tonys, and all the Tonys.
And it won all the Tonys. It won 6, I think it was nominated for 16 Tony Awards, I believe. It was a record-breaking amount. And obviously Hamilton was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Most of you may know him for writing In the Heights, 21 Jump Street. He also has random appearances in other shows. My most memorable appearance is him in Modern Family as Gilmero. It's so funny. So he wrote Hamilton, and essentially, I don't even know where I was getting at. Where was I getting with that? I forgot what I was getting at. What was I saying?
He's been shopping it around since 2013. There's a lot.
Yeah, he's been writing it since so during his In the Heights run, he actually started writing Hamilton because he got inspired after reading the biography of Hamilton one day. And then he said he's going to write it. And then Alex Lacamoire, who is the composer of In the Heights and Dear Evan Hansen, I believe, he was like, okay, sure, let's do it. And then Thomas Kail was also a part of the team. And Lynn recruited quite a few people that he'd already met before. So he'd already knew Daveed Diggs, Leslie Odom, Chris Jackson. He knew all these people. And, you know, he kind of just set up... It was meant to be like a Hamilton workshop. It was supposed to be like a mixtape. But then it turned out to be an actual musical for the public theatre and with 2 extended Broadway runs, pretty much. So, yeah, that's pretty much how Hamilton kind of came together. It was a very long time in the making. Like, the first time, if you ever want to watch how Hamilton first came about and its progression, watch a video, I believe it's spoken word poetry with the Obamas present.
Yeah.
And you could see Lynn performing it at a very, very young age. And it's absolutely insane. Like, he was rapping as if he were in the position of Aaron Burr. And while everyone was laughing, everyone was laughing, but he was actually like, for real, like he was like, yo, this is actually going to be a thing. Like, I'm going to make it. And everyone didn't think it would be a good idea because it's way too complicated, way too many songs. Yeah. But he managed to shrink it down and actually make it work. And now he's literally doing so well because of it.
It's the single biggest Broadway show ever. It grossed over $1 billion. So
it costs on average like $1,200 to go and watch it.
Yeah,
on average,
it's really expensive. Although I do have a fun story about Hamilton. How I almost went to see it in London before COVID. I think I've told you. I think I've told you this before, but before lockdown, back in I think it was December. I went to December of 2019. I was in London. And I remember seeing they were advertising Hamilton was coming in April. They were going to do a new version of Hamilton with obviously the English cast. So I was like, I want to go to that because at that point I knew what Hamilton was. I was starting to get into the soundtrack because I'm late to the party, but I'd not seen any of the show. I'd only heard the soundtrack, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to go watch it. And I was going to go watch it in April when it came out. I was actually about to book my tickets, and then like COVID came to the UK, and I was a bit like, oh, I'm not sure. And then the lockdown happened. I was like, oh, I guess I'm not going to that then. And then like a week or two after I'd sort of got over the fact that I wasn't going to go to Hamilton, it got announced that Disney Plus was going to have Hamilton. So it kind of worked out in the end. I got to see it Hamilton either way.
Yeah, Hamilton was supposed to be out in cinemas as well.
It was, yeah.
That's you know, if you watched it in cinema, it would have been a great experience overall. Like, could you just imagine just like going off and seeing? I mean, I guess we laughed about this the other day because I was like, imagine going in with a bunch of theater kids, like proper religious theater kids, and you know, not knowing the lyrics to My Shot, just sat there going, yeah, this is a good song, and you see the theater kid across the room judging you like, excuse me, you local, like. Like, I mean, it's sad that you can't experience it with other people because that would have been so cool. On the other hand, like watching it at home and then kind of looking on Twitter and looking on Instagram and these sort of things, it's actually quite fun.
It is, yeah.
Quite a lot of fun. And anyway, also as well, West End Hamilton. So Hamilton's pretty much gone global. They've got one in Australia. They've got the Angelica tour and the Philip tour and all these kind of tours. One's in Australia at the moment. Another one's in Canada. I don't know when it will be open again for America. I know that in the UK, the West End version, it opens May 15th. But we pretty much know that lockdown's a bit fishy, so you go at your own risk, depending what time.
Yeah.
But I've seen the cast for West End. Like I looked them up and they all look incredible. Like I've seen videos of the West End casts and I'm like, wow. This is incredible. Lynn made this. Like, he made this happen. And it's just incredible. So, I mean, we're pretty much 10 minutes in, so I think we should probably explain the Hamilton plot really badly.
All right.
Essentially, it's a 300-year-old man who is at first very, tenacious, he's very tenacious, he's very driven, very motivated to try and change America and build a better country, but overall he's crusty at times, and he's not he's not loved by everyone as much as he likes to think he is.
Yeah,
essentially.
so that's basically a man ruins his
and
life.
it's also It's also Aaron Burr being salty the entire way through. That's legit. You're just watching Aaron Burr getting salty for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, do you have a way to explain the plot really badly yourself?
Yeah. Caribbean boy. It's a big part of his character. He's from the Caribbean. Is that the... Yeah, no, yeah, Caribbean he's from. Yes, I've seen the show. I've seen the film. So
he's just being a local right now and just not paying attention to the details.
He goes to New York and he meets some people. Then he fights in a war. He then just has a kid. And he ruins his life progressively. His wife hates him. Then he dies.
He ruins... That is a really depressing...
He does, though. He ruins his life. The entire second half of that show is just watch Hamilton ruin his life.
Ruin his own life. And it's just so... And it's also, like... I just feel like whenever I saw... So, okay, so this musical, it stars the original Broadway cast. So, it stars Philippa Sue, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Renee Elise Goldsberry, Daveed Diggs, Chris Jackson, who else? Jasmine Cephas Jones, Anthony Ramos... Oak Anadwan, who else? I can't think on the top of my head. There's probably like loads of other people. I just can't think on the top of my head.
I'll put a list up, it'll be fine.
But yeah, I don't know if I said Leslie Odom. And Jonathan Groff. There we go. So it's got a pretty big cast. And Anthony Ramos, he plays two characters in this film, and both times it's just a mess. I'm not spoiling it. It's just a mess. Like, we'll get into spoilers later. But essentially, it's a star-studded cast, and it's incredible seeing an incredible performance. It's what musical theatre is all about, essentially. And for me, it felt like Mulligan. No, it wasn't even Mulligan. Who was it? It was Madison, Jefferson, and Burr.
Yep.
Oh, it just felt like I was watching Mean Girls. It just felt like I was watching Mean Girls. With no spoilers or anything. It just felt like Madison was the Regina George of Hamilton.
Oh my god.
Not Madison, I mean Jefferson. Damn it. Jefferson is the Regina George of Hamilton. Yeah, no! You will never unsee that ever again. Nope. And then also I had like another pop culture reference. It was like, the Schuyler sisters are Destiny's Child.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have too much time on my hands, so as you can see, I'm comparing everything to everyone. But yes, what else should we get into? Like, should we get into our favorite songs, or should we get into spoilers? I don't know.
Let's do...
Oh, actually, no, let's review it, actually,
okay.
Because,
yeah.
Let's review it without spoilers.
We'll do a spoiler-free review. Okay, I like how we have no structure to this. We're just making it up as we go along.
Oh yeah, we are, essentially, because we literally just got back into a routine, and honestly,
we had a script.
We'll kind of sort out.
We had a script, but then we both lost it, because it's been 2 months, and so now we're just kind of vaguely remembering what was on the schedule.
We vaguely remember, but see, the thing is, at least we know we're talking about them, like, we haven't diverged into talking about anything else right now, because at this point in time it'd be like 20 minutes in and we haven't even discussed the film.
Well, more like an hour.
Well, oh yeah, no, it's bad, like probably 40-50 minutes. Anyway, that's us getting distracted again. See, this is a bad habit. So yeah, let's get into a spoiler-free review. So essentially, I remember giving it like a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
It is my favorite musical. It's jumped into being my favorite musical. Mainly because it's just like, to me, that's what musical theatre is about. And if I managed to see that or had access to it like when I was younger, oh my god, I probably would have been a massive theatre and film kid. Like, I would have literally just been singing theatre all the way around.
Yeah.
And I think that it demonstrates what theatre is about. It demonstrates the passions of movement. It makes learning about history fun, even though everyone they play is a crusty old white man.
Yeah, and like the history is very off. Like,
the
most
history
of it
is incredibly off.
Again, most of them owned slaves.
Slavery was taken way too lightly in that musical, but like, well,
it's kind of. I think Lynn kind of shot himself in the foot. He was like, I've got a very diverse cast, which is good. But then how can I talk about how I can't have people of colour having slaves, because that seems to be kind of contradictory, especially during that time.
Yeah. Yeah,
it'd be kind of weird though, wouldn't it?
It would be weird, and also at the same time, I think it was genius that it was targeted for people of color, because especially I think definitely for people of color, musical theater. It just, I feel like if there was if they saw if a lot of people of color saw this when they were younger and they would see Hamilton, we'd have a lot more like diversity in Broadway probably. I mean, know Broadway is diverse.
But it's getting there, I think, more than it.
Film, yeah, it's doing a lot better than film. It's being a bit more progressive. The film is still like 100 steps behind. Golden Globes can tell you that, but I'm not gonna rant about that today. So yeah, as I was saying before, if people of color saw this in theater more often, it would have been great.
Yeah.
And it's still, but it's good to see it now. It's inspiring. It's like one of those things where if you see a film with minorities, led by minorities, it's more inspiring. Like you do feel it's like one of those things. So you think of like Black Panther, that was inspiring, like to everyone. And then you see Hamilton, that's inspiring to everyone. Like if you don't, it teaches you that you just have to, if you want to be creative as well, just keep pushing for it because it's actually kind of worth it in the end. And also the music's beautiful. Like, oh my gosh, everyone's voices are just so wow. I remember getting goosebumps at some points of the film because it's absolutely crazy. The dances, just everything, just everyone, everything, the dancers, the main cast, it just all meshed together so well, and you'd forget that it's 2 hours 40 minutes long. You just completely forget.
Yeah.
So if you're not into musicals, try and give this one a go because it's probably a great way to start. And obviously if you're not even into American history, just give it a watch because it's kind of, if you want to keep up with like pop culture stuff, this is probably worth giving a go because it's been a part of pop culture for about 5 years now. 5-6 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Everyone's been screaming out My Shop for like 5-6 years, and if you haven't even heard that with the Schuyler Sisters, then
it's never going away.
It's nuts. Yeah, it's one of those things that will never go away. And especially if you ever go and see, like, if you ever visit New York or you want to visit Broadway and want to go and see the West End, it's one of those things that will keep popping up.
Yeah,
like, okay, here's one of the all-time greats. It's like Rent.
It's just been ingrained into culture now, I guess.
Yeah, and Lynn, he became a pop culture icon himself pretty much at this point in time. He went from kind of known around Broadway to really, really big superstar, like as in known everywhere by everyone.
Yep. He is, yeah.
You're yawning. How dare you?
I woke up like 20 minutes ago. Fuck off. It's a lie. I woke up an hour ago, but I've just watched WandaVision, so.
Get it together. Oh my lord.
I'll just cut it out. No one will hear me yawn except you.
Except, pretty much. I'm just gonna keep talking about it so you can get, so they can hear how offended I am.
Even though they won't hear the actual yawn.
You just hear, how dare you?
Where's the yawn? Where is this? I just think you've gone crazy. It'll be fine.
You'd have to listen in. It's a little Easter egg inside the podcast.
No, it's not in there. It's not going to be in there. It's not going to be in there.
Okay. So Jack, what's your take? What's your little review on spoiler-free review of Hamilton?
From someone who's watched about 6 musicals in their life. I've watched more than that.
6 musicals?
I've watched more than that. I've watched more than that. I've seen loads of film musicals, and I've seen about, I don't know, I've seen Cats, not the movie Cats, the show Cats.
Not touching that.
I've seen Cats. I've seen Grease, Sound of Music, I've seen the general. I've seen all the movie musicals. High School Musical, the best one.
High School Musical 2, the best one.
High School Musical 2 is the best one.
Did you say 3?
No, High School Musical 2 is the best one.
Oh, I was going to say, whoa, I was going to have a heart attack. There's someone I know who said 3's the best, and I was like, cinematically, it's better, but everything else, it's just trash.
2's the best one.
But 2's the best.
I've seen quite a few musicals, but I wouldn't say I'm a musical fan. I enjoy the old musical, but it's not really my go-to. The film it's good. It genuinely is really good. It is very sort of like unrelenting in the songs. It's just song after song after song for about 3 hours.
It's literally an opera because it should be. I think it's classified as an opera because there is no dialogue, there is no.
There's
dialogue.
about 3 pages of dialogue in the entire thing. The rest of it is just music.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and even then, the dialogue that occurs literally happens in the song.
It's minimal. Yeah. but I think
most of the dialogue involves Hamilton getting told off. I'm now thinking about it. It is all the dialogue that happens is Hamilton getting told off.
But I do feel it is a really great show. It's great. I really like it. I remember being, from when I heard the songs initially, I loved it, and then obviously seeing the visuals to it makes it even better. I don't have much to say about it beyond I really like it, without spoiling too much. It's good. Lin is great as Hamilton. I will say he's the weakest part from an acting standpoint. But that's just because he has such a talented cast behind him. He'd make anyone look like the weakest part.
I think also another thing that's really difficult for him, it's because he's written all these people, so he's probably stepped into all these people's mindsets.
Yeah.
So one, I feel for him in the sense that it's like, okay, well, he now understands how Eliza's feeling. He's now understanding how Burr feels. So it's kind of a challenge for him to actually just
focus on Hamilton.
Hamilton when he's done everything.
Yeah.
And that's like, I remember seeing a video of him mentioning that within the Heights, like he said he had a problem with the fact that, it was hard to step out of just being, all these other characters and just be Usnavi de la Vega, who's like the lead of In the Heights. So it's kind of, it's a massive challenge for him. And also at the same time, I also feel like that for anyone who plays Aaron Burr, like that is, to even play that part, it's a challenge itself. Like, it's genuinely challenging. You have to get into this mindset of, why did Burr do what he did? Why is Burr feeling this way? Why does Burr hate Hamilton so much? And then it's at the same time, it's like, why does Hamilton want to strive to do all these different things that he wants to do? So those two roles themselves are probably the most challenging.
And Leslie Odom killed it. Like, he's amazing.
Yeah, he really did. I'm
glad to see he's getting work still, which is nice. I like to see that he's getting a lot of stuff off the back of Hamilton, which is cool.
Just not music. But that's a different story.
Yeah, but he is amazing in the show.
He's amazing. He's an amazing actor. And you really do get into you really do, in some ways you do kind of feel for him.
Yeah, you like, understand
you're like,
him.
Oh my gosh.
He's really good at conveying that, like, emotion, and all of his, like, solo songs are some of the best in the whole show. And he's just it's such an emotion to his voice. He's so great at sort of putting that emotion into the voice. You can hear sort of the little trembles when he sings. It's incredible. Yeah.
It's not loud. It's not overbearing. It's the one reason why he is probably one of the best voices in the musical is because it's so personal, and it just feels like he's just in a room with you, like just telling you how he feels.
Yeah,
like that's what he's good at doing. Through his voice, he's good at telling you how he feels.
I feel bad for anyone who has to play Aaron Burr besides him, because that is a lot to live up to.
It is, but also at the same time, I'm pretty sure every other person after the original Broadway cast brought something different.
Oh,
so
that's good.
I'm pretty sure I've seen.
I've only seen the original.
I've seen a few videos of Andrew Chappelle. He's basically one of the original cast members. He's one of the ensemble, and he plays Lafayette after and Jefferson after David Diggs, and he is actually incredible. Like, he's really good, and that's the same with what's his name, Sidney Harcourt. He plays I can't call him Woody. He's not Woody. James Reynolds. He looks like Woody from Toy Story in the thing, but he played Aaron Burr after Leslie, and he did really well. He brought his own kind of vibe, so it's kind of difficult. It's difficult to separate away from the original Broadway cast, but when you do it, it's actually like they're actually all bringing something different and something nice and something fresh. Because when you're really at the end of the day, you're not playing the person that the actor is being. You're playing the person that they're trying to portray. Which is kind of the big deal about Hamilton, and that's why it's so good. And everyone's just so talented. And the visuals are just so nice. Like, just everything's like, I wish I saw this in a cinema like screen now, because damn, it's good. But yeah, what should we get into now? Like, should we warn of the spoilers?
We should give it a score. You gave your score, didn't you, for it?
Yeah, I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. It's my favorite musical.
I think I'd give it. I want to give it a 9, but fuck it. I'll give it a 9. It is really that good.
Jack doesn't throw 9s like it's nothing.
No, I was trying to think of like.
Deep Blue
I'm trying to
Sea.
think of. Fuck off. I didn't give it a 9. I'm sure I gave it like a 7 or an 8. I think I gave it a 7 from memory.
Yeah, you gave it a 7, and that was like one of your favorites, isn't it?
It's probably the highest I've rated anything so far on the podcast.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, I think it's the highest I've ever rated anything as well.
It's a good film.
I would not throw 10s out of nowhere.
Oh no, 10 is a 10. I don't think there are many films I'd give a 10. And the few that are, I don't think we're ever going to cover. Maybe we will. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't want to give Hamilton like a 9 because I think that's really high.
However, it does set the bar high.
It is amazing. I'm trying to think of some negatives I have with the show. I don't know. I don't think I can have. There are a couple things that don't work for me. I think a couple of little nitpicky things. I'm not. I sort of feel that a couple of the no, I can't think. I'm trying to actually think of negatives on the spot. Because it's such a show that sort of pulls you in. It's kind of very easy to sort of just go on for the round. So you sort of forget a lot of, if there are any inconsistencies, you just kind of block it out.
Yeah, I think it's just because you're so focused on. Yeah. And I think one of the things with Hamilton is you have to kind of pay attention to what's going on. That's the one thing I would give advice on. Like, if you are going to watch Hamilton, obviously sing along. Like, if you know the lyrics and you know everything, you don't have to sit down and know the plot because you already know the plot. But if you're someone who's never watched Hamilton and vaguely know the story of Alexander Hamilton and you want to know
forget the history.
Dramatized version, if you want to know a dramatized version of that, you should probably sit down, get some popcorn, get some nachos, get the food ready, like, and just focus on the plot itself. Because it is actually kind of crazy. Like, if you miss little bits, you're like, hang on a minute, I didn't see this before. And I think that's what happened the first time I watched it. I missed some parts. But by the time I watched it for a second time, I started picking up on, like, little things. And you pick up on little, like, Easter eggs and stuff that are, like, throughout the film. And I don't even think it's meant to be like that, but it is.
It's very detailed. There's a lot of little details in the film.
That you just don't pay attention to. Which is, and like in the interludes especially, like the interludes have a lot of key details. That you don't realize.
I will say, if you're expecting it to be historically accurate, it isn't at all. It's very of liberal. I think that's a part of the tagline as well, which I didn't realize till I'd seen it a couple times, which is "It's America then, but told by America now," which makes sense. It's sort of like, well, now America's so much more diverse that it makes sense to show it as the current America displaying that story. It makes sense to have it be diverse. It makes sense that like slaves and stuff are kind of ignored. It's sort of hinted at, but they don't really talk about it.
So there are three things with this thing. So number one, the only time you could see that slaves been acknowledged is in the final song.
Yes, which we'll get to.
When Eliza's singing, and it's particularly you will have to see George Washington's face.
Yeah.
When Eliza says you could have done so much more about slavery, and that's like that is literally the actor's acknowledgement that so much more could have been done about slavery, and that's pretty much one of the few times. And then also in the cabinet rap battle. There's been an acknowledgement that
Thomas Jefferson
has been used. Thomas Jefferson's getting called out. And that's pretty much it. But I think another thing is a disclaimer, guys. George Washington isn't black. Just don't be surprised if you get a dollar bill and you see a white man on it and claim him to be George. He's not black.
Everyone who's black in the cast is not black in real life. That's
let's be real with that, okay? Everyone is not black, and not an incredibly talented singer. Like I've read some weird fact that like the real George Washington, he was tall, but he had no teeth.
Well, that makes sense. I'm pretty sure, did they brush their teeth back then? God, that sound like.
I don't know what it was. He had
I assume
a condition.
So. I assume they have toothbrushes and toothpaste in the 1700s. It's not that long ago.
I have no idea, but he had no. It was weird because I read facts about him and how he died.
Did he die? Did he die from dysentery? Please tell me he died from dysentery.
So he went hunting one day, and he's a bit of an idiot. He doesn't take care of himself. Oh, who am I to call George Washington an idiot?
I was gonna say.
in terms of hygiene and care, like when you're going hunting and you've got a cold, the one thing you would do is take care of yourself when you come back. He didn't do that. I think it was raining or it was wet, or something really bad was going on, and then he went home and then he kind of felt sick, but he kept hunting the next day. And then he came back again. I know I'm probably inaccurate, but this is around the lines of what he did. He went back and there was a doctor that went to check up on him because he had like really bad coughs and he was having cold sweats and stuff. And the doctor said he was fine. It was all going to blow off. It didn't. And I think it was given a while after that and he died. Like literally, it was apparently something the doctors could have stopped it from happening.
What a loser.
From him getting a condition, but they didn't. And that's why he died so young. Well, so young.
I was thinking like 60 or something. That's like old for their time.
It's like, so for their time, it's incredibly old. But then at the same time, he could have been saved. Like, apparently he could have been saved and the doctor refused and stuff. But yeah, he had no teeth, which was really, really, really funny.
Oh, that's interesting.
And he had like, how many dogs? He had so many, like he had a load of dogs. Like he didn't have any kids, but he had like 12 dogs or something.
He didn't have any kids, he had 12 dogs. Oh god, he was like a crazy cat lady, but with dogs and a man.
But with dogs, exactly. It was so funny. And Lafayette, he named his son after George Washington. So his son is called George Washington de Lafayette or something like that. It's something really funny. It's not meant to be funny, but to me it's hilarious.
It's quite funny.
Anyway, the reason why again Hamilton is so good with the casting is because technically the story goes along the lines of immigrants building the country, and it is again being told by America now, but in a sense it's also like telling the story of America back then by this country was actually built by immigrants. Even though the people that they're playing are white people, essentially it was built by
they were
immigrants.
white people, but they weren't from America, obviously.
Exactly. They were all like Irish or English,
French.
Or, I don't know, French or
Don't forget Hamilton. He always talks about where he's from. It's literally like a huge part of his character is where he's from.
Like he's like half Scottish.
He is half
Scottish, half.
Oh my god, his dad's Sean Connery. So Sean Connery's always looked so old. He's like 400 years old.
No. Leave Sean Connery out of this.
No, I'm not leaving Sean Connery out of anything. That's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. He's a bad guy.
No,
I'm gonna get so much shit for that, but he's a bad guy.
Oh god, yeah, some of the stuff that was...
I mean, he did open up, and he did say once that it was okay to put a woman in her place. He was okay with hitting women.
Oh lord, like this is why, like, it's also so funny whenever they're like, oh my god, Sean Connery's my favorite James Bond. I'm like,
I mean, he fits the role, doesn't he? He just smacks women and shoots them in the head.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, sure, boo-boo. I mean, he originated the role and stuff, and I don't know, obviously you're supposed to separate the actor from the art, but sometimes that's incredibly difficult.
The dude made League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, so I think that's enough of a sin to just discredit him. This guy's dead. I don't know why we're ragging on him. He's a dead guy.
Yeah, no, that's really, really bad. I mean, props to him for making James Bond. I actually forgot about that. I thought he was still alive.
No, he's dead.
Wow.
He's dead. He's very dead.
Did he die last year?
Yeah, 2020, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot happened last year. Oh my god.
Yep. Yeah.
You know it's bad when you actually like forget. 2020 was bad when you forget like some of the big stuff that happened.
Yeah.
Like you actually realize it was really bad.
Yeah. No, he made some great films. But he wasn't the best of people.
Okay, cool. So
Hamilton spoilers.
So basically, at this point now, we've got spoilers coming in.
Oh,
so
if I don't,
a warning.
just to clarify, I gave Hamilton, my score has changed. I'm going to give it an 8.5. It's probably because I don't really.
Whoa! How dare you!
That's as high as I'm going to go. I don't know. I feel weird giving it a 9. Fine. I'll stay as a 9. 9. But now I have to find an episode where I have a 10. Right. Okay. Hamilton's 9. I guess I'm going to get.
Yes.
God, I'm going to get fucking rinsed for that. Yeah. Right. Anyway, Hamilton spoilers. Let's go.
Right, let's go. Spoilers. Hamilton is a crusty old 300-year-old man.
Stop saying crusty. It sounds really weird.
He is crusty. He is crusty. See how he was behaving, how he treated Eliza? I'm sorry, but that's one of the... Oh, that wound me up a lot. And also the Reynolds pamphlet. This is why Jefferson's Regina George, because the Reynolds pamphlet is where he shows through, like where Hamilton exposes himself.
That sounds wrong out of context.
So I mean,
he flashes the entirety of New York. He just comes out and just opens his robe.
He openly just says, "Hey guys, I cheated," and then the robe's just up.
He does, yeah. I don't get. That's my one issue. I get he does it because he thinks like if he goes, "Oh, yeah, I cheated," they'll like have sympathy for him. Because he like explains like
cheaters expect sympathy. That's what like did Hamilton actually expect like?
I mean, he's wrong. His justification, because he's in his own head, he's like, well, if I say it, they can't use it against me. And it's like, yeah, but you also out yourself. Like they weren't gonna say it, right? Or were they? I don't know. I feel like Aaron Burr wouldn't have said it, but they were like having it as like a thing they'd hold over him if he tried to run for president.
Yeah, I think Burr would have held it over him, even though Burr is more respectable in his ways. But Jefferson would have.
Yeah, Burr would have never said it. But
I think Jefferson would have cared.
Yeah, Burr would have never said it, but Burr would have been like, if you do this, I will do it. And then there's like a threat. But Jefferson, I don't know. I think they would have kept it. I think they would have used it because they would have used it to sort of talk him out of going to be president, and they'd just keep him under control. Because I think they know the value of him is that he's really smart, and so if they use it as like a way to control him, they can use the good side of him without having to lose the negatives.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's very.
Because again, he basically like created America's financial system.
He basically invented Wall Street, the whole thing.
And like even Jefferson talks about Jefferson talks about like trying to break it. He's like, I'm trying to fix it and like tear it apart, but I just can't. So clearly, he was like valuable to them. Yeah. Also, it was the thing that stopped him from being president. So that's an interesting little.
He's never going to be president.
Yeah, because he clearly, I think he could have been, especially as Washington's right-hand man. He would have had a chance.
He would have been, yeah, because if you were, because Washington was such a big deal back then, like you could tell.
And he controlled the newspapers.
Sorry?
And Hamilton controlled the newspapers.
Yeah, he really did, and it's a big deal when someone can control the world's opinion and
the media,
stuff like that. And yeah, he literally controlled everything and everyone. In terms of like vocally, again, one of my favorite songs is "One Last Time." Okay. It is my favorite song of Hamilton. We'll get
to our list of favorite songs in a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
It's.
What are your thoughts? Oh shit! I knocked my mic.
Sorry?
I knocked my mic over a little bit. It's fine. We're fine.
Ah, brilliant. It's your fault.
So I think, spoiler-wise, it's good. Yeah, Hamilton just ruins his life. I thought Angelica was my favourite character as well.
Wow, she had
the best,
voice.
Story, yeah. She's just sad. And she is...
You really feel bad for her, even though in real life, like, Angelica was married when she met Hamilton. But, like, still, you do feel...
Yeah.
You feel really bad for her, but then also at the same time you feel bad for Eliza. Like, come on, dude. Like, wow, Eliza.
Yeah. Poor Eliza.
She did it. Yeah, poor Eliza. I didn't pay attention to her much until the ending the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched it, I really felt for her.
Yeah. I also, Renee Goldsberg, I think her name is.
Renee Goldsberry, yeah.
That's it, yeah. She's amazing. She may be my new celebrity crush. She is.
I remember you telling me
she
about
is, though.
that. Oh,
you can't tell me I'm wrong.
What's not to love about her, though? She's got the sass. She's got the kind of the voice. She's got the power. She's got a stage presence about her that is unmatched, essentially. And you could listen to her sing all day and just forget that you've been listening to her sing all day.
Yeah.
Look at you going, yeah, you're right, probably. And yeah, she's incredible at what she does. Also, like, even though Jasmine, she plays Mariah Reynolds and Peggy,
she's also great.
She has a wonderful voice. Like, wow, insane notice. I felt like I wished I listened to her singing more.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I felt like what we got was good enough. It was good enough because it really showed her vocal range. Like, we didn't need her to have like 2 hours to show us how good she can sing, because she blew us all away. You know?
Very funny. Oh, what a funny joke. Oh my god, what a funny joke. Oh my god.
I'm dropping in puns and every now and again.
Jesus.
Bro, I didn't even know I was going to drop that in as a pun, so don't even attack me.
Yeah, you did. You planned that. I know you have it written.
I did not.
big note
But
on
I
the wall.
planned the room where it happens, but I did not plan blow us all away. I completely forgot about that.
That's a lie, and you know it. I know you've got a sticky note in front of you that just says the pun. Just little timestamps.
Sorry, I don't have the timestamps here in my uni accommodation, which is crusty.
Yeah, you planned that
yeah,
pun.
no. There are. I didn't plan the pun. Everyone has a gift and a stage presence that's similar to King George.
Yeah.
Mad King George. There's a lot of Georges in there. I'll just call him King G. He had King G. He was incredible. Although I do see a lot of memes about him whenever he like spits with the umbrella. Like someone's like get an umbrella ready because Jonathan Groff's singing.
That was the scariest moment in a COVID world, wasn't it? And he just spits into the audience.
My corona cautious self freaks out whenever I see him spit now because I'm like the poor people at the front. That is corona central.
Fairness, it was shot pre-COVID, so he's probably fine.
Everyone's probably fine, but still, it makes you think about corona. Like I don't know. It's crazy. But he was only in it for 9 minutes of the film, and he was literally was influential.
He kills it. He killed
his role. And then we're gonna get onto who else. Like again, Lafayette, freaking killed. Like just love Daveed Diggs, man.
Yep,
he's just
great.
so awesome. He's just so awesome. Like, bruh.
Daveed Diggs is just the best the entire time. He is.
He's just so wholesome. He is like I think out of all the characters, like all the people like in Hamilton, I just feel like he's probably one of the most wholesome one who raps incredibly quick, and it's like
he's got the best hair as well.
Oh, he's got incredible
the best hair.
Wow.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous how good that man's hair is.
He really shows up for everyone. He sets the bar high, and we have to talk about Anthony Ramos and how this man is unlucky on stage.
Dies. Well, I mean, he plays with Navi in the Heights, so I'm scared they might just kill him in the halfway through.
Kill him off a whoop.
Lynn rolls in with his little ice cream truck and just shoots him.
Oh my gosh, no, this better not happen. But he is very unlucky. I think one of the really defining moments for me was when Philip dies and Eliza screams. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That,
Fairness,
I
Hamilton's
wish they put
fault,
that...
though.
Sorry?
Hamilton's fault he dies, though.
Oh, yeah,
well,
no,
Hamilton's,
it's his fault. He killed his
Hamilton's
son.
the one who says he cheats. So the guy takes the piss out of him because he's a bastard. And then Philip's obviously upset because it's his dad. And then his dad's like, yeah, you should shoot him. Yeah. And he's like, nah, don't shoot him, mate. Just put your gun in the sky. He'll definitely won't shoot you in the head. And then he goes and does it, and the guy shoots him anyway. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Rob, that's your fault, Hamilton.
And then he does that to himself as well. Knowing what happened to his son, he's like, I'm going to point my weapon in the air too. Like, what? What were you thinking? Okay?
I get why he does it, but I'm also like, yeah, but I'm like, dude, you're saying it to your kid, but you also told your friend to shoot that guy in the chest like 10 years ago. So I think you probably should just tell your kid to shoot this guy, or tell him to not go to the duel at all. Just back out of the duel. It's not that. Just don't go.
Yeah, at the same time, he should be thinking he has a load of kids, right? And like his daughter is going insane.
Oh, he fucked up. He fucked up all his. We talked about that. Yeah, he fucked up all his kids.
Yeah,
like
he messed up everything for his kids.
Yeah, well, his younger kids are okay, but his oldest daughter, who was, I think she was older than Philip, was she? Maybe she was around the same.
Younger, she was his younger sister. Yeah.
But she went insane, and she basically for the rest of her life She basically couldn't leave the house. She could be independent. She basically got stuck as like a child. Mentally, and so she talked to Philip like he was still there.
Yeah, like he really messed up.
And that's Hamilton's fault. That son of a bitch.
Honestly,
that's
I would
his fault.
punch him, but like I can't.
He's the worst. He's a bad person.
He's a bad dude. Like at the start, he's starting a liberation and he wants to free America. Good dude, amazing. But it's when he starts winding everyone up. That's when he doesn't know when it goes.
It's when his ego comes in. It's when his ego takes over.
All fun, like Hamilton, bruv. All fun winding people up for fun. Honestly, I would wind up Jefferson too if I were in your position. But don't go off and get your family killed because you're too busy winding up everyone
else. Take a break,
like,
you son of a bitch. It's not all about you.
Exactly, like, dude.
Like I get he's like, I don't want to take a break, I have to be the best. But it's like, dude, but seriously though, take a break. Like, not for you, but for your family.
That's actually that's another thing about taking a break, because everyone who raps in Hamilton dies. Eliza's the only person who doesn't rap, and she's alive.
God, she does as well.
Everyone who raps, they rap in that because time is running out fast. So Hamilton raps at the start. Burr, I don't really know if he raps that often, but he's still alive by the end of Hamilton.
Yeah, he survives.
But like when you meet Washington raps first of all, and then he dies.
Jefferson raps, but he doesn't die.
Yeah. Well, Jefferson, that's a different story though. But I'm pretty sure
You've
he
just
like
broken
died,
your own
like,
theory.
Well, it's not my theory. I found someone's theory, and they were like, okay, so most of the people who rap in there,
yeah, I guess you could argue Jefferson dies
at a younger age.
Yeah,
Jefferson dies before Eliza. Everyone who raps has died before Eliza. That's essentially what I'm getting at.
Well, Eliza dies at like 90 something.
90.
Give me a second.
Yeah. So she's singing because she wants to take her time with her life, and she's not the hero in the beginning. She's just there. But she is overall, I'd say, the hero of the story because she is the reason why Hamilton's been able to cement his legacy, and he's been able to do all these crazy different things.
Thomas Jefferson died at 83 years old.
There we go. Well, I mean, he died before Eliza, though, right?
I think he was older, so probably.
Yeah.
Essentially,
like that's even Angelica, she like died like.
Holy fuck! She was in 97 when she died.
She's the only person who doesn't die, like who didn't die because she didn't rap incredibly quick, which is like.
She sang very slowly.
She sang really slowly, but then like, bruh, she had all the time in the world, like.
She's 50
and
years.
Everyone else didn't.
She's like 97 solid years.
I mean, Peggy didn't rap, but she technically rapped her line and Peggy, so.
And Peggy, I'm pretty sure Peggy dies, doesn't she? And she died really young.
Peggy dies by Act 2.
Yeah.
She dies by the start of Act 2 because she dies at like 40 something, and Hamilton was the last person that saw her.
Just kind of messed up.
Before she died. Yeah, they were besties. #besties. But apparently, like, Peggy was really bad as a person anyway. I know everyone's bad, but
and
like,
Angelica
and her name
was
ain't even
buried
Peggy.
next to...
It's like Margarita or something like that. Disappointed. But everyone calls her Peggy instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, like everyone, yeah, I know that's one of the theories. Another theory, I had so many theories back when we first recorded this, and it annoys me that I can never find those theories again. What's another theory? Gosh damn it, could I? The Eliza's gasp one, that's good. Oh, and the reason Hamilton. I remember you mentioned that Hamilton's not ideally about Alexander Hamilton, but it's actually about Eliza because Eliza's telling this story.
Well, yeah, because there's the scene which is like everyone else's story gets told. Eliza's is the one that never gets told, and the gasp at the end of the film is supposed to be Eliza breaking the fourth wall and realizing Lin-Manuel Miranda made the musical about Eliza.
I love that theory a lot.
Well, it's called Hamilton, not Alexander Hamilton. And if you look at it the way the first half of the play idolizes Hamilton, almost like you're falling in love with him, like he's perfect, he can't do anything wrong. And then the second half, when is like him being demonized. One more you see for who he really is. So you see the faults of his ego and his arrogance, because that's her realizing who he is, her falling out of love with him, and then by the end they fall back in love with each other, and then you sort of see he gets idolized a lot more when he dies, and then when he dies, she's like it's supposed to be, it's from the perspective of Eliza, which is why you follow how he's represented based on how she sees him.
Yeah, so that's essentially that's a really good theory. I love that one. And I love seeing the little things that they do in the background, like when the bullet dies in the interlude, and then at that point she's killing everyone. I think it's between Right Hand Man and You'll Be Back.
Yeah.
She gets killed by a British soldier, and then all of a sudden she becomes the bullet. So when John Lawrence is shaking hands with the bullet when he's like, "We'll never be free until we end slavery," he dies right afterwards. He gets directed to where George Eaker is by the bullet again. And she gets in the way of everything, and I like that sort of stuff. And then there was another one where, what was the other? Whenever when Hamilton was doing his speech, and he's like, what's it called? At the end, he's doing his speech at the end, when he's like, "I'm running out of time, my time's up, wise up, eyes up." And then he's like, Lawrence leads his soldiers chorus on the other side, like he's wearing a white jacket, and then he does the flip, and then my son's on the other side, and then Washington's also in the white jacket because he's dead at this point. And like everyone else around him is wearing a white coat because pretty much like they've all like died or they've moved on or whatever. Yeah. And then I read another theory as well that's like they also wear the white coats in the beginning because they've not developed a relationship with Hamilton yet, except for Burr, who's literally going straight into developing a relationship with Hamilton in the next song, which is why they wear white jackets, which is pretty sick. There's so many little Easter eggs that you should notice.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, I'm out of it. But yes.
So should we move on to now I've had a little spoiler chat. Should we move on to our top 5 favorite songs of the show?
Top 5. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
You go first.
You gonna do top 5? I'll go first. Okay. Yeah. Number 1, One Last Time, because
it's 1
I
to
got
5,
goosebumps.
right?
Yeah,
okay.
Goosebumps. Like that's just for me the big one. I always get goosebumps watching it, and it's like Chris blows it out of the park. Number 2, The Room Where It Happens. Wow, you know what I mean? Like just wow. It's Leslie pulls it out of the park as well with that one. Number 3, what's number 3? Gosh, this is getting harder. Satisfied. I'm sorry, but Satisfied is it's a belter. You gotta really sing that one out. It's a go-to. Number 4, Who Lives Who Dies Who Tells Your Story, because of when you hear The Orphanage. I'm sorry, but that really gets you, and the a cappella bit at the end, beautiful.
Yeah.
And then number 5, Non-Stop. I do love Helpless, don't get me wrong, and I love all the other songs. Yeah. But at the moment, these are my top 5. Like the top 5 I'd listen to now and again.
Okay.
What about you?
My favourites. My number 1, I'd honestly think it changes, but I think my number 1 is Non-Stop.
Oh yeah.
Because it perfectly blends everyone's stories and everyone kind of comes together in the end with Hamilton, where he's sort of desperately trying to keep himself above water almost, and where everyone's pushing down on him, and he's basically just trying to be the best he can be. It's really cool. I think that last moment where he's just screaming basically into the void is really powerful. I think. My number 2 is Burn. Because it's almost the counter song to Non-Stop, which is about Hamilton's drive and his need to prove himself, which is the opposite, which is essentially just a tear down of Hamilton and showing that sort of bad side of him, and that all those good things that come from him being he's ruined it, so unsatisfied and having to constantly prove himself is going to ruin his life and has ruined his life.
Yeah.
My number 3 is The Room Where It Happens. Again, it's just amazing. My number 4 would be Satisfied, because again, it's great, and it really makes you feel for Angelica as a character, and it really it's and you see the sadness in her, and it's that idea of like she wants to be with Hamilton, but she knows if she does, she'll break her sister's heart, and it's kind of like she has to put her sister before her, and it shows that kind of selflessness, which is a really big part of her character. And my number 5,
it's a sad boy hour song.
Yeah. And my number 5 would be Wait For It, which is Leslie Odom's kind of big thing. Because again, it's the same as it shows why Burr is where he is. And I really personally actually quite felt a connection to that song. Especially at the time when I was listening to it, all my friends were going to uni, and I wasn't, and so it kind of, I don't know, I had sort of quite a deep connection to it, which, felt good. Yeah. And it's also quite a cathartic song as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a really good song.
Yeah, agreed. So that's my top 5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are our top 5. They obviously change around all the time. Like, Say No to This was my number 2, like, literally, like, a couple of weeks ago. I was just going to Say No to This all the time. And then, like, other songs. And it's fun to learn the lyrics and be able to rap and perform it yourself.
Yeah.
Also, if you try performing non-stop, all the people, like, all
you'll
the
die.
characters, you'll die. It's not like you will. Yeah, it's insanity. If you're asthmatic as well.
I think you could. I think Lynn can do it, but that's about it.
I don't even think Lynn can do it. I think
he tries. I think he sits at home and tries every night. He's like just reading. I
just don't think he has it in himself. Oh my god! I've taken over the living room for too long. I was expected to finish this an hour ago, so I'm pretty sure like everyone's just walked in.
We're like 2 hours and 20 into this as well.
Yeah, exactly, and I've got to finish up soon.
Okay,
anyway,
right.
So sure everyone just walked in
we'll wrap it up with. I'll wrap it up with my pitch for the Hamilton adaptation, since that is kind of the part. That is kind of the point of this show. So I'll do mine, and then we can wrap it up. That's cool.
Yeah. So essentially, like, I didn't have an idea for a remake of this, obviously, because I was like, it's so good the way it is.
Yeah.
That if Disney were to remake it into a film, wow, it would be like, it would be Game of Thrones budget worthy.
Oh, God,
like, you
we'll
know what I
see.
mean? Like, massive budget. And also singing in the battle. I don't know how that's gonna work when you're singing Yorktown.
Oh, I think it'll be done like 1917, where it'll be like a one shot, and they'll all be singing as they're fighting. It'll look really cinematic and stuff.
Okay, well that's brilliant. So like, lay out all your ideas.
Okay, so I couldn't think of an actual serious like pitch. So I've got like a couple. So first of all, for like what I'd actually do with the Hamilton film, I'd kind of just basically make it really cinematic. That's the point. Just add visuals to it. You can look up all sorts of like animatics and stuff people have done for the Hamilton, to just make it look really cool visually. But that isn't much of a pitch. So I came up with a dumb idea. I thought it'd be really funny to pitch it like a shitty version of Hamilton, and I've called it Hamilton High.
No. Oh no! Oh,
so Hamilton High.
Oh my gosh.
So Hamilton High is essentially just Hamilton, the same story, but everyone's in high school. So Hamilton's a transfer student, and he comes in, and his goal is he wants to be the head of. He wants to be like in the student council. And so everyone's the same. So Jefferson's like one of the jocks.
Right.
Burr's one of the shy kids. He's kind of quiet, but he's really smart. He's like really academically gifted, but he's like he's like a really big introvert.
Right.
Which I know doesn't work with his character because he's like a really good people person, but stick with me. Fucking Washington's like one of the teachers. He's like the head of the student council, or he's like maybe he's like a senior, and he's like on the oldest thing, but he's supposed to be older than everyone else. The Schuyler sisters are basically just like the popular girls. Jefferson and Madison are like part of like the school football team, and then like Burr joins them later on when he becomes more confident in himself.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's just the entire thing, but they're all high schoolers, and that's kind of as far as I got, because I sort of got to the point like, if I make this too deep, I'm going to be like actually wanting it, and I don't want it.
You don't want to be
I've
selling
kept it short, but basically it's just the same. So like, my shot is Hamilton introducing himself in like the class, or no, no, Alexander Hamilton is him coming into school. My shot is done through him being at lunch, and the same with like Right Hand Man.
Okay.
The Battle of Yorktown and like the Revolution is all there in like the park. The like outside when they were playing outside.
The park. Why do I see this happening?
Either
this so
like part of it's outside school, and then the rest is like they have a big fight in the park.
Oh,
and it's like the school and like the other side of the school. So it was like no, it's like two different schools in the area, and they have to fight in like at the local park.
Oh my God.
And Philip dying is he like breaks his leg or something. You can't actually kill a child. I mean, you could kill a high schooler. And like the duels are like a rock fight. So in the duel you have a rock and you have to throw a rock at the other person.
Oh.
That's the idea, yeah. And the whole kid
Oh my God.
and the kids thing, instead of kids it's all like it's like animals and pets. Or like or like if their kid's like a pencil. It's like Philip's like Hamilton lies like pencil they get together at like a shop. And when he dies, the other person just snaps it in half, and then they have to have that really dramatic scene where Philip's bleeding out, but it's just two high schoolers crying over a pencil.
For God's sake. Why does this happen?
Also Hamilton cheating and saying no to this isn't him having sex with a prostitute. It's it's him holding hands with another girl while Eliza's not in school, or like over the summer break. Over the summer break, yeah, he's in summer school over the summer break, and he holds hands with another girl, and that's cheating.
Oh,
and then they'll have to be like burn, but it's just because he held hands with another girl.
Oh my God, that's so.
And again, when he dies at the end, it's a rock fight again. And like he gets hit in the head with Aaron Burr, and then Hamilton has to leave school. He has to go. His mum finds out and then takes him and then moves into a different school because he started a fucking revolution in school.
That's chaotic.
And then Aaron Burr does a song when he like sings about like how he killed Hamilton, but he hasn't. He's just thrown a rock at his head and he's gone home.
Oh, that sounds so chaotic. I just can't even with the idea. Oh God, I feel like making a bad version.
And one last time with Washington is him graduating and going to college.
Oh no, but that's nice.
Yeah, that's the point. It's supposed to be one nice one. Not all of it's just fucking kids throwing rocks at each other's heads. That's most of it.
You've got literally like this freaking senior who's graduating, and then all the rest of it is just throwing rocks.
Yeah, it's like that scene in It where they're throwing rocks at each other across the river. It's just that, but that's Hamilton. It's like 20 minutes of them just throwing rocks.
That is actually hilarious.
King George is one of the teachers. He's a teacher and he's just like, the fuck is going on here? And then he comes in to do his bits. And it kind of makes sense because he's like in charge of them. He could either be the headmaster or one of the teachers. Headmaster would actually work pretty well. So yeah, that's the idea. Because it's just Hamilton in a high school.
That's brilliant. Well, I really think that's a very funny idea, and I can't wait to see that.
Oh yeah.
Actually get made.
I want $75 million for it.
Yeah, brilliant. Just invest everything you can.
Yeah.
But you know, in terms of time, I really have to. We have to really close this off.
Right. If you outro this, then we'll call it a day.
If I what? Sorry.
If you just do the outro, we'll call it a day.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening to the. 1 second, guys. I'll be literally back. Sorry, like literally, they're talking, and I'm like, okay. Hey, bruh, I can't get it right. 1 second, mate. Give me 1 second. Right, okay. Thank you for listening to the Hollywood Fixers. I've been Kudzai here with good old Jackson.
All right, Jackson.
With Jackson.
All right. I'm here.
And you know, it's been really fun. Hopefully, like next week we'll have something. We'll probably have like loads more content coming out soon.
Well, we've got at least 2 videos coming out in the next few days.
We've got 2 videos coming out, so it'll be brilliant. And we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Cool. Peace.